All right, welcome everybody to our 11 o'clock advanced class. And this is book number 200. It is our last day for this for a while because we will be combining with the Monday 2 o'clock class. Today's song is When You Wish Upon a Star, and it is a gorgeous song. Some of you have had it with me before, but we are on a different instrument, so I think you're going to hear some new things today. All right, what do we know about this song? Well, it's written for Disney's 1940 adaptation of Pinocchio. The original version was sung by Cliff Edwards. Now, Cliff Edwards, you may not know who he is by name, but you would know him as the character of Jiminy Cricket. He's the guy. The song has since become the representative song of the entire Walt Disney Company. It's number 7 in AFI's 100 Years, 100 Songs, which, by the way, happens to be the book we're using on Friday. So join me for that class as well. Now, only 4 Disney animated film songs actually appear on the AFI list, the 100 Years of 100 Songs. The others are Someday My Prince Will Come, which is actually number 19 on that list, Beauty and the Beast, which is number 62, and Hakuna Matata from The Lion King, which is number 99. Now remember, this song is number 7, so it's really high up on the list. Other popular versions in 1940 were made by Glenn Miller, Guy Lombardo, Horace Heidt, and of course Cliff Edwards, Mr. Jiminy Cricket himself. Now this, Brian Wilson of the Beach Boys has said that their hit Surfer Girl, you remember that one? Little surfer, little one. That is loosely based on this song. So it's amazing how songs cross over the genres, and they used part of this song as an inspiration to do their Little Surfer Girl. This has also become a jazz standard, and a lot of artists have performed the song recently, including Linda Ronstadt, Louis Armstrong, so that gives you an idea of what kind of instruments to use, Dave Brubeck, Shack Attack, Harry James, Joe Pass, the Manhattan Transfer, Wynton Marsalis, Rod Stewart, and Shirley Bassey. So lots of different genres and lots of different artists have done this song, and it's absolutely fabulous.
I like Sammy Davis's version of it best.
Which one? Sammy Davis?
Sammy Davis, yeah.
I don't think I've ever heard that one.
Oh,
But
it's
yeah, I'm
great.
sure a lot of people have done this. It's a fabulous song. Um, different rhythms. Now, because I'm on a different organ from what I've done this on before, I think the symphony was the last organ I used for this. I had to go through this morning and go, okay, what kind of rhythms do I want to use? Well, first of all, any of your smooth rhythms are going to be fabulous at 78 because it's not in song setup in the journey. So I'm doing it on smooth, easy 4/4. I am also using Johnny Chance's. What a fabulous background. It works for everything. And of course, my favorite go-to background is Strings 101, and that is on here. So I am going to be doing a version on Strings 101. And Hawaiian Paradise. Don't forget about that one. That's got a great big orchestral background, and I'm going to be featuring a vocal with that one. Big strings and vocals work very well. Those of you with the larger instruments, there is a song setup called Pop Out There. That is the signature background for this song. Well, no, it's not. It's for Somewhere Out There. I take that back. It's for Somewhere Out There. But it works fabulously well for When You Wish Upon a Star. And also, it is in song setup for Write the Songs. Write the Songs, which is Barry Manilow. Those of you with the smaller instruments, if you are on a Freedom 3, mellow, easy 8-beat is fabulous on this. And your gospel guitar heaven. Don't forget your gospel is really a good background for a lot of you for ballads. So don't overlook that. Your strings and flutes are going to be fabulous on that. On the easies, easy 10s, 4s, 3s, 2s, 1s, any of your smooth backgrounds at 78 are perfect. Or traditional guitarist, which is jazz club. Bigger organs, you all have jazz club as well, so don't be afraid to use it. So you can see lots of different ways to do When You Wish Upon a Star. I can even hear a country singer doing this. So if you wanted to put it on an easy country and try some of those sounds. This is a good one to explore your different genres of music styles to see what works. Now, David Sasanick, I know what you're thinking. It just doesn't sound right on disco. But if anybody can make it work, David Sasanick can make disco work for When You Wish Upon a Star. Okay, but don't be afraid to try things. Go ahead and try your different backgrounds. We're also going to take a look at learning where your transpose is on the instrument. It only is written one time, no roadmap. But I suggest playing it twice, and the second time, transpose it up half a step. So that's a one-button push. So what you need to know is, how do I get to my transpose? Where is it? Sometimes it's next to the window. On this instrument, it's right over here. And it says transpose, and it's got a sharp and a flat. We always want to go up a half step. So you just want to touch that one up half a step the second time we play it. For people that have it in the window on the easy instruments, what you need to do is go to your feature. The last thing that you do, set up your organ according to what you want, how fast you want it to go, what presets you want, and then the last thing you do is go to your feature and find transpose in the window, and then hit the select. And when you are ready to transpose, you just touch the scroll button up one, and that will do your transpose up. Now, the minute you touch a different preset, that window's going away. So you have to make sure that that is the last thing that you put in your window. Now, the fanfare is the first one that actually has your transpose on deck. So as we're working more and more with using transpose in our arranging, the fanfare would be an excellent upgrade for some of you to be able to have that on deck. Am I looking to sell some of you guys instruments? Oh yes, always, every day and always. I'm going to play this on the EZ44, which is smooth full band at 78, using the piano and strings on the top keyboard, and using a saxophone on the bottom. Okay, and listen for the transpose. I'll just stop right there. But then the next thing that I would do is do a transpose, and then you can go back and play it again. Now, transposing, there are several different takes on how to transpose. And what do I mean by that? Well, if I'm holding the last note and the last chord, and I transpose while I'm still on those, you can hear it go up. And that's okay. Sometimes that's what you want. You want the audience to hear it go up. Sometimes you want it to be a complete surprise. So if I didn't want anybody to know that I was transposing up, I might want to change a sound. And you could do something such as, let me just get my pedal magic on Phil. You could do a no chord, and then if you transpose, you can't hear it. So that when you start playing, you are in that next key. The other thing would be to do a no chord and a drum fill. That gives you a chance to change your buttons and to do a transpose up, and then it's a surprise. Okay, so that's another way to do it, is do either a no chord or a no chord with a drum fill, and that will have your organ go up as like a surprise, so that when you hear it, it's there, but you didn't actually do it while you were still sitting on a note. Now, either way is acceptable. It's what do you want your audience to hear? What do you want to hear when you are expressing the song? If you want people to know that you're going up, absolutely. Sit on that last note and then transpose up, and people will hear it go from one to the next. And they know absolutely they're transposing up. And either way is acceptable. So there's also, you could do it on a fill. If you've got a fill going, now if you've got a fill going, you are on a chord. You can hear it. You hear the fill going up. And that's fine too. Anytime you've got the chord going, whether it be with a fill or you're just playing the chord on the note, and you hit that transpose, you will hear it. The only time you don't hear it is if you take out that note, you do the no chord, take out the music and just put the drums on. Then you can have a choice. You can just do a little bit of drums, or you can have that fill going and do a big drum solo, hit the no chord, change whatever you need, and or hit the transpose, and it goes up half a step. Any questions on what I just did with the transpose? Try it and see what you think. Transposing can be a lot of fun, and what does it create? Drama. And we love drama. Drama's always good in songs. All right, let's do some extra chords. Why? Because we can. All right, line 1. No changes. Woohoo! Line 2, the very first F, change it to a D diminished. D-I-M. Remember, diminished chords are the letter plus 6. So it will be D and A flat. Now that's good for one count, but it's going to sound really nice. Beat 2 over the C for the word you. Put your F back in. So what you're actually going to be hearing is D diminished, but it does sound nice. Second measure, we're in the second line. The A minor is good. Make the D a D diminished. Now you just played one of those, so you should remember what it is. It's D and A flat. And if you need to write it in, go for it. G minor or G minor 7. That's fine. Now, the third line. First beat over the D half note. Put in a B flat chord, butterfly flat. Just your thumb on the B flat. Second measure, third beat. Make that C a C7, C and B flat. The rest of the line is good, just the way it is. Line 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Second measure. First beat, cross out the F and replace it with D diminished, D and A flat for one count. Over the C quarter note, beat 2, put your F back in. The A minor is good for 2 counts, and turn the D into a D diminished, D and A flat. Next page, top line, no changes. Second line, cross out the G minor. Okay, we're going to have one chord per note for the other three notes, the other three beats in that first measure. So over the G, put a G minor, that's where it's going. Over the A, put in a C diminished, chicken diminished, which is C and F sharp. And over the B flat, C7, C and B flat. Cross out the F and change it to a D dinosaur diminished, D and A flat for one count. Now, not one note because you have 2/8 notes there. So beat 2, which is over the C dotted half note, put your F back in. Let's go to the third line. Measure
Dawn?
2. Yes.
On the second line,
Uh-huh.
it starts out with the GM over the rest,
Correct.
the G minor over the rest. And then you want a G minor on the G next to it?
Yep, I want you to cross out the
So
G minor. Cross out the G minor. We're not going to
Okay.
play it until we get to the G note. So it's just going to be
Gotcha.
note
Okay.
at
So
the same
still
time.
playing.
Yeah, cross out the G minor. We're not going to play it over the rest. We're going to play it over the G note. So we're basically just shoving it over one beat.
Okay. So we're still playing the F at that point, or?
Yes, you're still going to be on the F.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Good question.
Dawn, what's the C diminished?
C diminished is C and F sharp.
Okay, thank you.
You're very welcome. C and up 6. The third line, second measure, cross out the G minor and replace it with B flat minor, butterfly flat minor, which is D flat and B flat, dinosaur flat and butterfly flat. The rest of the line is fine, just the way it is. Fourth line, third measure. Cross out the F and replace it with D diminished. We've done this several times in the past, so we're just repeating. D diminished is D and A flat. And then over the C, beat 2, put your F back in. The last line, A minor is good for 2 counts. Make the D a D diminished, D and A flat. Your G minor or G minor 7 is good for the whole measure. Third measure, over the D for the word dream, put in a B flat. B flat, butterfly flat. Okay, as far as, I'm going to do fingering last. I'll wait until last to do that. But I did change a very few notes. Now, go back to page 1, line 3, measure 2. After the word you see 2 quarter notes with no lyrics underneath them. You see an A and a G. Guess what? Put them in parentheses. You can use them if you wish, but you don't have to. You can just continue playing the C straight across. And you can put in a nice little fill in there if you want, or do a little virtuoso if you've got one of those. But those 2 notes are completely optional, no worries. Then let's go to the end of the song, the very end, Dreams Come True. The first time you play it exactly as written, D, E, F. The second time, you might want to do this. So instead of the E, I went up to an A. So you might want to put an A over the E. And you just remember that the second time is when you're going to play that. And of course, you can do the little finger roll from the A down to the F, which is just grabbing every note in between. And you can just put a little squiggly line between A and F, and that'll work. Now, I also did a couple of little glissandos, and I did one at the top of the second page coming from Dreamers. And what you do is you've got a 5 on the D, meet your thumb up to the pinky, and just run that thumb down the line. Or not, but it sounds kind of cool, and it just makes for a nice embellishment is what those are called.
Excuse me, Dawn.
Yes.
I missed line 3 on page 183.
Okay.
The G minor you did something with?
Yes. The second page, the G minor, I changed it to a B flat minor, butterfly flat minor, which is D flat and B flat.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, let's try this on Johnny Chances. A lot of you have this. It's a fabulous background. Now, did that introduce this song? Not necessarily. That kind of introduced. Now you want me to play Johnny Chances, don't you? Because that's what you heard. So if your intro doesn't always match your song, but you love the background, now you have to think of different ways to do an intro. Now you can do a couple of things. You could play the last 4 measures, which is the last line, and introduce the song that way. Now I would do a no chord to start. You could just start with a no chord, because what you're looking for is the beat. You need to have that tempo, and you need to have the beat. But if you'd rather introduce this song rather than the Johnny Chances, you might just want to play the last 4 measures. Again, if you wanted to play it a second time, you can do a nice little fill-in or a nice drum solo. Whoops, how come that went? Oh, because I didn't save it. Okay, you can do your fill-in, and then do your transpose, and then go into it again. Okay. That's what happened. I didn't save that into my preset. Yeah, if you're going to put your pedal magic, use that as a lesson. If you're going to put your pedal magic and put it on the fill or the glide, make sure you save that into your preset, or it will go away the minute you go to the next preset. Yep, that was my fault. All right. Any questions at this time.
Did you put an alter style in there?
I did not.
You did not? Oh,
I
not this
did
time, huh?
not. It was
Okay.
just on plain old Johnny Chances. All I did
Okay.
was go to the bottom keyboard.
Right. Okay.
That was the only change that I made, but I could have.
Don, can you go over the last line on the song, the chord changes?
The very last line, the only, yeah, I have two chord changes. The second chord is a D, change it to a D diminished, D, D-I-M, which is D and A flat. And then measure 3 over the D for the word dream, put in a B flat, butterfly flat.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. And this sounds absolutely fabulous on Strings 101. And I also did this, just to be a little different, on Hawaiian Paradise. And I used general setup number 5, which is a real pretty choir. And it's got some harmony on it. Now, I'm not going to go to the lower keyboard because those are your Christmas chimes. But I did go back to the original style setup the second time and played an orchestra, big orchestra, and on the bottom there's a real pretty oboe. So I will play this one twice. How are we doing on time? Oh, we're good. We are good. Now also, do not forget your dynamics in this song. How do you do dynamics, and what exactly are they? What are dynamics? Anybody have a clue? What's dynamics?
Your expression going up and down in volume.
Correct. Expression going up and down in volume. It's your louds and your softs. It's your louds and your softs. How do you control that? Now, some of you have a key called dynamic keying or keyboard touch. That's one way to do it. Now, I don't like to do that because my touch is way too light to really get a nice sense of dynamics on the keys. I like to do it with my foot pedal. If you want it to get a little bit louder, lean into your foot pedal and it will swell, it will get louder. If you want it to be softer, pull back on the foot pedal. Now you don't want to pump on that foot pedal because then you get a silly sound and you don't want that. But you do want to use your expression pedal for exactly that, to put in the louds and the softs. And this is one of those very expressive songs that will really teach you or give you a chance to really experiment with using your foot pedal for the louds and the softs. Okay, I'm going to do this on Hawaiian Paradise. And let's use the last 4 lines, or the last 4 measures as the intro. I kind of like that idea.
Very pretty.
And I did a lot of super louds and super softs. I may not have done that quite so extremely if I was playing in concert, but I wanted you to hear. I just wanted you to hear. And sometimes changing to a solo sound when I went down to the oboe requires you to get a little softer. And when I played the bridge the second time, I used a lot of fill-ins. And I probably overdid the fill-ins, but I just wanted you to hear that when you use a lot of fill-ins, it gets bigger, it gets louder, it gets like a lot of stuff going on. So if you want to get overly dramatic in a certain, and we love drama, if you want to get overly dramatic in a certain spot, use a lot of fill-ins because that will absolutely bring in. Now, can you overdo the fill-ins?
Oh, yeah.
Yes. And I am a culprit of overusing fill-ins, especially on the Hawaiian Paradise. I love what it does, and I have a tendency to use way too many of them. So, how do you not overuse fill-ins? Or how do you know if you're overusing fill-ins? The only way to really know is record yourself. Record it, and then you can step back and listen. You know, you want to be able to feel like you're getting all that emotion into the song. So just go crazy and use what you think is going to make it sound fabulous. Then record it, go back and listen to it and go, oops, I think I did a little bit too much there. Or, wow, that actually was pretty good. It could actually use a few more fill-ins. So
Hey, Dawn?
yes, go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, you're fine.
And
By recording yourself, you actually can hear what you're doing. And it's not to pick yourself apart. It's to listen and say, could I make it a little better? Or you can go, very nice, you did a good job. So that's what recording yourself is all about. It's so that you can actually sit back and enjoy what you've done. And I do highly recommend that at some point you do record yourself. I know some people think you should do it once a week. I think do it whenever you like a song. If you're having a good time on a song, to record it and just see what it sounds like. The other good thing about that is when somebody comes to your house and says, "Oh, Helen, play for me," and you're feeling like, I just don't want to play in front of anybody right now, but you could go to your organ and you could put on the one that you just recorded and say, "See, that's me. I recorded it yesterday," and not be fibbing.
on
So
the
that's another
second
good
time,
thing.
on the second time around when you play the song,
Uh-huh.
on the second page,
Mhm.
did you add extra notes on third line?
Yes, I did both times, and I did it
Okay.
differently both times.
Okay.
Yep. You're good ears, Ramon.
I think I heard it more on the second time around.
Yeah. Well, on one, I did when you're doing the fulfillment of their secret longing. See where he is?
Right.
One, I just went up to a G and then rolled it back down. G, F, E.
Okay.
And one, I just did a little flip. I just did a C, F, C.
Okay.
So, or an E, I'm sorry, an E, F, E. An E, F, E. So one I went up to the G and came back down. One I stayed on the F and just did a little flip on the E, E, F, E. So yeah, and that's just noodling. If you're sitting on a note a long time, that's a good place to do a little noodling if it sounds right. Now if it doesn't sound right, hang on the note. Just do what it says to do. Use a fill-in. Use a virtuoso if you have one of those. By the way, if you have a journey and you do not have a virtuoso, you need to see me after class now.
Dawn, I have a question.
Yes.
You taught a class when we learned about the echo, and I want to make sure I'm doing it correctly. for instance, in this song, can I play the first two measures on the top keyboard, repeat them on the bottom keyboard, but then do I go back to the top or keep playing
You
through?
really don't have a place in here to do an echo.
Okay.
An echo is when you're sitting on a long note. I can't even think of an example right now. You're sitting on a long note. You've played a little phrase, and you come down to the bottom and repeat it.
Okay.
But you don't really have a spot in this song to actually do that. So
A good song for that is Some Enchanted Evening in the beginning.
yes, some enchanted evening, da 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 da. That's the perfect song. Yes.
Okay, so it's not several measures. It's a short,
Yes.
very short.
Yep,
Okay.
you're just repeating
Got
a
it.
phrase with a different sound. And usually if you're playing on the bottom, you would go to the top keyboard. Or if you're on the top, you go to the bottom. Or you might want to play it an octave higher.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Thank you, Joe, for the tip, because that is a perfect song for that.
Try it.
Any other questions before I do the fingering? Because I know some of you don't care for the fingering. And you can go fix lunch or whatever it is that you do.
Dawn, tell us, well, we're not going to do next week on this, but we'll do it.
We're going to
Okay.
be on, wow, somebody has to tell me, what are we doing next week for book 274, 2 o'clock? I should have come prepared to tell you that. I just had it yesterday, but when you get to be my age, you don't remember everything.
Yeah. So we're not going to even work in this book right now.
Nope.
We'll move to it later.
We
Okay.
will move back to this book when we
Okay.
finish with book 274.
Okay.
So, yes. So
You said
don't,
before-
Yesterday, once more.
Yesterday, yes, yesterday's song.
Yesterday, once
yesterday
more.
is the song, correct? Yes, because we
And-
just came off of the song that Randy doesn't like very much.
You
Yeah,
light up my
yes.
life.
And if there's
Light Up My
time,
Life.
yesterday once more.
Yeah.
And we will do Yesterday, the song Yesterday by the Beatles in 274. You may have that in another book. If you need it, do let me know. Okay? You guys are fabulous. I will do fingering for those of you who need it. Otherwise, have a
Adios.
great rest of the week. We'll see you on product workshops. We'll see you on variety classes. We'll see you on Zoom musicals. We'll see you on my other regular classes. So,
Dawn,
yes,
they wanted to know what that song was from yesterday.
it's Yesterday, Ken.
You
It is
light
yesterday.
up my life.
No, it is Yesterday. It's the song for next week.
Oh,
It's also the next song in the
And-
book.
Yes,
two.
it is.
Yeah, can we do yesterday tomorrow?
Yeah, we'll do it. Yeah.
okay.
And today,
Maybe we should do it today.
Yeah.
You guys are very silly.
Oh,
All right, let's do some fingering. Low C1, high C5, B flat 4, A3, F sharp 2, G1. Circle it. You're going to tuck it under. High D5, low E1, high E5, D4, C3, B2, C1 with a circle, tuck it under. F4, G5, F4, E3, D2, C1. B flat 3 with a circle, A2, G1, D5, E1. C can either be 4 or 5, whichever finger gets there first. Now, if you're playing the A and the G, it would be A3, G2. I didn't actually play them, but I had them in parentheses, so they're optional. Low C1, high C5, B flat 4, A3, F sharp 2, G1 with a circle, D5. Low E1, high E5, D4, C3, B2, C1 with a circle, you're tucking your thumb under, F4, G5, F4, E3, D2, C1, B flat 3 with a circle, you're crossing it over. A2, G1. Second page, D5, E1. And if you want to do a little glissando there, you want to make sure you put the squiggly line between the D and the E. F2, check mark. Now we're going into the bridge of the song. G1, A2, C4, second line, G1, A2, B flat 3, B4, D5, C4. A1, B2, C3, C sharp 4, E5, D4, check mark. D2, E3, F4, F4. E3, check mark. Now we're going back to the main body of the song, the A part. C1, high C5, B flat 4, A3, F sharp 2, G1 with a circle, you're tucking it under, D5, low E1, high E5, D4, C3, B2, C1 with a circle, F4, G5, F4, E3, D2, C1, B flat 3 with a circle, A2, G1. Put an arrow on the next note. Put a 2 on it. E3, F4. Now the second time you're going to play that high A5, and then the F can be a 3 or a 1, depending on whether or not you're just putting your finger there or rolling your fingers down and doing the finger roll. Any questions? Did I lose you guys, or did you go pretty well on that? Pretty good? All right.
Got it.
Perfect.
Very good.
This is a pretty song, and it's so easy to work on so many different things. You can use it on 100 different rhythms. So experiment, use some rhythms that you might not think of, and you might go, ooh, this makes a really nice recipe. Do not forget about alter style. You might like what's happening, but it might not be exactly right. Try it with the alter style, see what happens. Don't forget about using your golden harp. So there's a lot of different things you can do. All right? Okay. So this class is finito, but we will be merging with the Monday class, and so we'll just have one great big giant advanced class. It'll be a wonderful thing. And book 264, the song Yesterday, which I believe is also in this book. So we will actually avoid some of these overlaps that we're having. No worries, hold on to this book, because as soon as we're done with book 274, and we're going to go back to the beginning and start again, because remember, I started in the middle. I had no idea that we would still be Zooming when back in June we started doing this. You realize this is like week 19 that we're Zooming?
Wow.
Yeah, this has been a long time. I never, ever would have guessed in a million years. I'm actually very happy doing Zoom. Do I miss the in-store classes? Yes, I do. But this is a way for us to reach people in different cities, in different states. And I really think that it's a wonderful thing that we've stumbled onto. And I'm very happy with the Zoom. It is what it is. So, stay safe. And we'll see you again soon. And John Purcell, come on into the store and I'll give you a class schedule.
Bye, Annette.
Bye, bye, Tam. I like your hair. Did you cut it?
Very short.
Yeah, it's cute.
Looks good, looks good.
Jean cut it for me.
Oh, no.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
New career, huh?
Yeah. No, not really.
You guys are awesome.
thank you,
Have a
Dawn.
great
for your
weekend.
class.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Good day. Stay safe.
Yes, please.